A Good Business San Diego financial news update, sponsored by Wilsey Asset Management.
Good evening. I'm Brent Wilsey, president of Wilsey Asset Management. I know a lot of people invested in AI, which, by the way, for those who don't know, stands for artificial intelligence. And it's been a big boom, and congratulations, you've done well on that. But let's look at some numbers on where it's going to go from here. Now, AI, we know the revenue is going to cover. Will the revenue actually cover all the expenses that they actually have? And that's a big thing they've got to look at. So let's take a look at some numbers to make it a little bit easier for you. Break down the numbers on AI. Well, first off, let's look at how much it costs to build the U.S. interstate highway system about 40 years ago. That, with what's being spent on AI, is more than what was spent on that highway system, the entire U.S. interstate highway system, which took 40 years. And again, that's inflation adjusted. I know it was built years ago, but inflation adjusted, it's cost more money to build AI infrastructure, which includes the data centers, than it costs to build the entire U.S. internet system there. Also, too, it's going to cost about $2 trillion over the next 5 years. They're going to have to produce the infrastructure and everything else for AI. About $2 trillion in revenue is what's needed to keep that going. Now, yeah, $2 trillion is a lot of money, but how much money is it? It's going to break it down for you. $2 trillion in revenue is more revenue than produced by Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, and NVIDIA. And that's combined, not individually, but combined. $2 trillion, a lot of revenue. The problem they also have is that who's going to pay for it? Now, myself and many people I talk to, we love AI. It's free. I'll use it all day long for free. But the problem is it has to be paid for eventually, and who's going to pay for it? Now, businesses have said, based on what they're seeing, the people will pay, businesses and people will pay no more than $3 a month for AI. Well, that's a lot of people paying $3 a month to get to that $2 trillion revenue number. I don't think it can make it. Now, AI executives are the ones who kind of build it up, and that's why investors, oh, this is the next best thing, it's been great and so forth. And it is evolutionary. But the problem is they're overhyping it. They say it's going to add about 10% to the global GDP, which again is gross domestic product. Not the US, but 10% of the global GDP. Now, they say it's going to do that by replacing jobs. Well, wait a minute, if you replace jobs, who's going to be paying for the AI? Because if nobody has a job, there's nobody to pay for the AI. So that's a problem there. So also too, it looks like we're in a bubble. We've had bubbles before. So when you look at past bubbles, there's been many of them. It's because of overexcitement from investors. And we could talk about other ones like canals was a bubble, electricity, railroads, and who can forget about the internet bubble that we had about 25 years ago. And what happened was millions and millions of miles of fiber optic cable was laid out back in the internet boom. And for years, it sat there. It didn't do anything. So all those companies that put in the infrastructure of the fiber optic cable, they went bankrupt from all the debt they had and all the expenses. That's the problem, is they overcommit. They said that the internet was going to double about once every 100 days. That didn't happen. It took about 4 times that amount to actually double the internet. And the same thing's happening now. The excitement, the over-enthusiasm is just way above the reality of what's going to happen with that. So you've got to be careful. And by the way, those fiber optic cables, they're now being used for streaming. So all this information does come from our website. Go to our website, smartinvesting2000.com, smartinvesting2000.com. I'm Brent Wilsey. Have a good evening.
This has been a Good Business San Diego financial news update, sponsored by Wilsey Asset Management.